Brian. This is Deron Burton sending you this letter by my sister Dee Dee. I would like you to send me a letter back on the opposite side of this tape. Dear Brian, even though we're hundreds of miles away, I still think of you as my best friend. We're moving again. We're moving to Washington, D.C. My dad has already gone to buy us a house even though this house hasn't sold yet. Where we live now, we're a couple blocks from the school and a couple blocks from a swimming pool. We have a nice small fenced-in backyard with a playhouse. It's lots of fun, but we can't play in it now because we painted it to help sell the house. The swimming pool's lots of fun. It's public, but it's nice to swim in. It has a very high dive and a low dive, almost like the one at the Federal Way Pool. Our house is a small one-story. Most of the things that we had in Washington is now in the attic because we don't have room for it in this house. It's a nice house, but I really don't like it, and I'm anxious to move. My second best friend that I found here in Texas is Chris Kirchner. He lives a lot farther away than you did when I lived in Washington, but he's still my second best friend. The schools here are a drag, even though it's supposed to be the 5th in the nation. You have to get up at 7, go to school at 8, and you don't get out till 3:30. And during all that time, you don't get a single recess. And any time that you get to go outside at all is either on a field day or a field trip or for PE. PE isn't really all that fun because all you do is do exercises and run laps around the soccer field, which is very sandy and you can't even play soccer on it because a soccer ball will get bogged down in the sand. The playground is bare except for one big toy ball field and a short cement tunnel. It's very boring even when you do get to go outside, which is next to never. But we do have 2 parks that are real close. One is closer than the other, but the other one is funner than the other one. My friend Chris lives close to the farther one. That's why it's so far away. The one that's close to us, we play at often. It has lots of neat bike trails and hills to ride over, which are great for doing Papa Wheelies on. We have a cat named Whiskers who started out to be a stray, but we sort of adopted him. We live almost on the edge of a bayou, which is great for fishing in, but it has lots of snakes and water moccasins, so my mom won't let us fish in it. But other kids that fish, sometimes they give us things out of it like crabs and crayfish. Out back, we have a pond which we used to keep them in, but my mom cleaned it out and painted it to help sell the house, and she said we couldn't put any more in it. Also out back, we have a screened-in area which has lots of plants and ants and a bench that we sit on to eat sometimes when we want to eat outside and not all cooped up in a small house. Me and Derek have to share a bedroom, and we always keep one spare for a guest room like we did in Washington. The toy box is in my closet. We have bunk beds and one twin bed all in one room. My sister has her own room. It's nice, but I really wouldn't like to have it for my room. Down here in Texas, the roaches are terrible. Every time you turn on the lights at night, you see roaches flying everywhere and scampering across the wall and floor. In the summer, it gets so hot that even inside with your air conditioning on full blast, you're still mighty warm. In the spring, everything looks nice because there's flowers blooming everywhere. But in the winter, it gets no more cold than it does in summer in Washington. And it never snows. That's why I'm anxious to move to Washington, D.C., because it snows a lot there, and sometimes we even get snowed out of school for a while, but you have to make it up in the summer anyway. My mom's whole side of the family lives there, so I'm pretty anxious to see some of my relatives, and here's where all of my dad's side of the family lives, and I'm pretty bored of them. I used to be taking piano lessons, but I quit them. My sister did too. My brother, well, he just half took them and he quit.